In this video, I'm sharing you 8 reasons that your organization should invest more on M&A resource or sending your staff for M&A training. For some organizations, investing in monitoring and evaluation resource is a big decision. Therefore, until now, some of those organizations have not had a single M&A staff in their organizations, or have not decided to send their staff to get more training on M&A. In this video, I'm sharing you 8 reasons that your organization should invest more on M&A resource or sending your staff for M&A training. As you can see over here, there's 8 reasons that can help you to make decisions. Now we will talk one by one together. But before moving further, if you haven't subscribed my channel yet, please subscribe my channel. Then you can always get my video whenever I post it on my YouTube channel. Thank you for your subscription. So now let's discuss these 8 reasons one by one together. First of all, I believe by having an M&A personnel in your organizations or improving your staff capacity in monitoring and evaluation, it will help you to improve the quality of your project design or proposal writing. What do I mean by saying this? As we know that during the proposal writing, we need to conduct contextual analysis to understand the context of the problem. We need to develop a good theory of change which depict to the donors how the change will happen. So in other words, we need to describe clearly the correlation between activities to the outputs, outcomes, and impact. Also, we need to develop a good indicators to measure the change or to develop a good work M&A plan. So those kind of things need to be done only you have a good resource of project monitoring and evaluation in your organizations. Or you need to hire external consultant to do this for you. See, so that's why I said that having a good resource of monitoring and evaluation in your organization will strengthen or improve your project design or your proposal writing. Number 2, by having a M&A resource, M&A personnel in your organizations will help you better aware what to be measured or how to be measured your intended change. As just discussed earlier, when we write proposal, we discuss on how change would happen, what expected output will be produced. So we know that, right? Through the discussion with the M&A personnel, M&A practitioners, a deep discussion together with the proposal development team and project team and M&A expert, we know exactly what change would look like and how to measure that change. What indicators will be used to measure those changes, and who will be involved in collecting data for those changes or to track the outputs. So now we know it exactly. Everyone is well aware what the change would be look like and how to measure them. Just if you invest more on monitoring and evaluation. Number 3, when your organizations have adequate capacity on project monitoring and evaluation, you will be able to develop any necessary form, tools, or system for your project or for your programs, as well as for your organizations. Again, in another video that I produced talking about the task of M&A. If you haven't watched that video yet, please visit my channel and then find that video, which is called 12 tasks of M&A. Then you can see that one of the key tasks of M&A is to produce the mail plan. During producing the mail plan, once producing the mail plan during the during the first stage of project life cycle, or finalizing the mail plan when the proposal approved, at that time we also produce tools, templates for data collection, for data analysis or interpretation. So without having a good resource of M&A in your organizations, probably it's very hard for your organization to produce these forms, tools, or systems. Some organizations end up hiring external consultant to do this job for them. So if you just invest more in M&A, then you can do it internally. Number 4, it is about productivity. Here I'm not talking about efficiency, using resource effectively. I'm talking about using resource in a right way. You may experience this for some organizations who never had M&A practitioners or M&A staff in your organizations. Whenever you would like to develop a log frame or project theory of change, your program staff, your proposal development team might do it, take the responsibility. And then, since they are not good at this, they spend a lot of time just to do this one. Somehow, at the end of the day, you could not produce a good project theory of change. Somehow you end up producing a low quality of theory of change, which is very hard to describe your project. I'm not sure, but some of you may experience this, that when you look at the project proposal or project log frame, you feel like, huh? That's very hard to understand it. What change does this project would like to make? What expected result that the project would like to make? That's very hard to get it, just because you don't have M&A staff to support you doing that. Some organizations, another example, some organizations would like to conduct a baseline study. Since you don't have capacity, since your staff doesn't know about M&A, or you don't have M&A staff in your organizations, you tried very hard just to coordinate that baseline. Somehow you just hire external consultant to do it, and then you have no idea how to coordinate that one or how to lead that activity. At the end of the day, the consultant just lead you to do that activity, because your organization is not sure how the baseline will be conducted. Or even like at the end of the day, some organizations experience this. At the end of the day, when you receive a baseline report, you are not satisfied with that one, because you don't know exactly what do you want from that baseline. See? Therefore, when I'm talking about the productivity here, if you invest more in M&A, having M&A staff or strengthening your staff in M&A, let them understand more about monitoring and evaluation, understand more about research design, then they can coordinate this activity very well. Point number 5, quality of data. Some people believe that monitoring and evaluation is about data. That's why they don't want to take a money role, because they don't want to play around with data. But if those people know more about monitoring and evaluation, they will pay attention more on the data quality. As M&A practitioners, we really give high value to the data quality. A good data can generate a good evidence, can generate a good report to the donors, to the audience. So by having a good, by having a M&A resource in the organizations, we can strengthen the quality of data that have collected, or we collected sufficient data, right amount of data, right data, appropriate data that need to be reported, need to be stored, need to be documented for the evidence, for producing the report, for publication, so on. And also, if you have a good resource in the organization on M&A, the data can be verified at any time. Without M&A skill, resource in the organizations, sometimes you collect thousands of data, but they are not necessary. You store thousands of data, but those data is not accurate, because no one verified that. By now, hope you get my point. It's about the quality of data through having or investing more on monitoring and evaluation resource, or strengthening your staff capacity in M&A. Now moving to point number 6, which is about informed decisions. So when we have sufficient data to analyze, when we track a right data, analyzing and reflecting those data frequently, then it is very flexible for the organizations, for the project or the program to make any decisions. If you know exactly that through the monitoring activity, you learn that there are certain of activity could not be implemented. There are certain of outputs could not be produced. Or you learn that some outcomes could not be generated. All those certain outputs have been produced. You learn those from the evaluation. Then you can make a good decision, a right decisions to adjust your implementation strategy or your intervention strategy. So this is, we call it informed decisions. But without having staff, without having a resource who can track a good data, a right data, or interpret data correctly, sometimes you get a wrong information, then your decision is not correct or is not appropriate, just because you don't have a good data or sufficient amount of data to make decisions. Point number 7, it is about donor expectations. Here I experience discuss with a lot of people, many friends just challenging me about this. Why do they have invest on M&A? Why do they care much about data? Why do they need to track or record their activity? They never seen donor requirement on those particular things. However, I would like to share with you here is about donor expectations. Some donor, they set a clear requirement that you need to have meal plan. You must have M&A specialists in your organizations. However, some donors do not set that requirement, but they expect that your organizations have adequate resource in project monitoring and evaluation. They expect your project manager tracking the right data and generating an appropriate information for making informed decisions. Donors expect that you document all necessary data for the evidence. I put evidence here because at the end of the day, donor would like us to report, to make a report based on the evidence. We cannot just make up the story for the donors. Like many of you experience writing a success story, right? We write success story based on the evidence, based on the fact. It's not based on our thinking. It's not based on our dream or imagination. We cannot just imagine that impact would happen and then we write that story. But it will be based on a real case study, the impact that linked to how that impact was produced by a certain outcomes, and then how that outcome was produced by a certain outputs that we provided. So those sort of evidence, donors are expecting us to document it properly. Then one day, donor will verify those kind of evidence. Donor are smart. They are not fool. They are not just believe us easily. Right? When we send the report to the donor, one day they will come to our organization and verify the data, just to make sure that we have all evidence. If we conduct the training, donor really want us to document the training report, to document the attendance list. But from here, donor never ask it directly. In the contract, donor did not state that we need or you need to write a training report after training. No. Or after coaching session, you need to have a coaching report. No. But what donor expect is we know how to manage our project or program by having documenting all necessary evidence for donor to verify the data or outcomes or impacts. Last point is about readiness for any opportunities. When I'm raising this point just because when I'm sharing about proposal development, a writing proposal, I heard many challenges about writing related to proposal writing is related to insufficient data. There's no sufficient data on hand to write a proposal within a short period of time. Somehow we get only 2 weeks notice for submitting the proposal. Then staff need to just in almost like 2 weeks just exploring the data, finding the data for writing proposal. Right? But if you document everything very well, if you track everything in your system, in your database, so whenever you would like to get those data for writing the proposal, that is easy. You just retrieve that information and then write a new proposal, develop a new proposal from those data that you have. Also, if your organizations have a strong M&A systems, have a good evidence, whenever you share the report with your donors, with evidence, with facts. You're telling story using the facts that you generated or you documented. Then you already impressed your donor. How good your organization is in terms of monitoring and evaluation. Or other donors might notice that how good your organization is in terms of documenting everything. Then whenever opportunity arises, they will approach you to get fund and implement it. However, if your organization is very poor in documenting in everything, you just make up the story to tell your audience. They don't believe you, right? So at the end of the day, when opportunity arises, they never knock your door for funding. In conclusion, here are 8 reasons that your organizations should invest more M&A. Your organization should have M&A staff, or send your staff, project manager, program manager, development team for M&A trainings. Just make sure they are well understanding on M&A. Then you can obtain all these benefits. Thanks for watching this video. If you have any comments or if you have any feedbacks, comments or suggestions on my video today, please drop your comments in the comment box below. Once again, if you haven't subscribed my channel yet, please have to subscribe my channel. Click the bell button, then you will get my video whenever I post it on my YouTube channel.